The U.S. Storm Center is tracking a dangerous and prolonged severe weather event that will unfold over the next several days, affecting a wide swath of the country from Texas through the Midwest and into the Ohio Valley. This is one of the most significant setups of the season so far, and millions of people across multiple states need to be paying close attention. A powerful storm system is organizing across the plains, and conditions are coming together in a way that forecasters find deeply concerning. The combination of strong wind shear, abundant moisture, and intense atmospheric instability is creating the perfect recipe for violent thunderstorms, destructive winds, and dangerous tornadoes. Today, the most serious threat is centered across the central and southern plains. An enhanced risk of severe weather is in place for a large portion of this region, covering parts of Nebraska, Kansas, and Missouri. A slight risk stretches from Iowa down into Oklahoma and Arkansas, while a more marginal threat fans out toward Dixie Alley and as far north as South Dakota. The primary hazard today will be damaging winds, with gusts expected between 60 and 65 miles per hour across a broad area. These are the kinds of winds that can knock down trees, damage roofs, and create dangerous driving conditions, particularly for high-profile vehicles. Hail is also a major concern today, especially across Kansas and Missouri. Some storms could produce hail reaching baseball size, a truly dangerous and destructive threat. Reports of very large hail are possible near Oklahoma City during the afternoon hours, so residents in that area should be prepared to take shelter quickly. A number of tornadoes are also expected today. While the overall tornado count may not be extreme, some of those that do develop could be strong. Particular attention should be paid to areas near Manhattan, Topeka, and Wichita in Kansas, as well as the Oklahoma City metro. A conditional tornado risk also exists just north of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, depending on how storm cells organize through the afternoon. Storms are expected to fire up in the early afternoon hours, with large hail leading the way as the initial hazard. As the afternoon progresses and instability peaks, supercell thunderstorms will become more numerous and more organized. The situation could become especially dangerous during the evening and overnight hours across Kansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma, when a nocturnal tornado threat is possible. Nighttime tornadoes are particularly deadly because, many people are asleep and may not receive or hear warnings in time. Monday is when this event takes a significant and alarming turn. The severe weather threat shifts eastward and expands dramatically, and forecasters are using language that demands serious attention. A major outbreak is possible across the Midwest and into the lower Mississippi River Valley, and this could be one of the most dangerous weather days the region has seen in quite some time. A large enhanced risk area is in place from southern Wisconsin all the way south toward Memphis, Tennessee. Cities like Milwaukee, Chicago, Indianapolis, Louisville, St. Louis, Springfield, Little Rock, and Memphis all fall within the threat zone on Monday. This is an enormous geographic footprint for a high-end severe weather event, and the impacts could be widespread and honestly, life-threatening. Every severe weather hazard will be on the table Monday. Damaging winds are perhaps the most certain threat, with gusts potentially exceeding 75 miles per hour across parts of southern Wisconsin, the Chicago area, and back toward St. Louis. Winds in the 60 to 80 mile per hour range across such a populated corridor would cause widespread destruction, power outages, and significant structural damage. The hail threat on Monday is also substantial. Large to very large hail is likely across a broad area, and the zone of significant hail could expand even further east as the system evolves. Anyone with vehicles, crops, or property in the threat area should definitely take precautions. The most alarming aspect of Monday's setup is the tornado threat. Forecasters are highlighting a significant risk of strong to violent tornadoes, including those potentially reaching EF3 intensity or higher. The area of greatest concern includes central Illinois, western Indiana, eastern Iowa, and eastern Missouri. These are densely populated regions, and long-track tornadoes in this corridor could cause catastrophic damage. Strong tornado potential also exists near Milwaukee, Chicago, and into portions of the lower Mississippi Valley. For a major metropolitan area like Chicago to be included in a significant tornado risk is something that should not be taken lightly. Residents across the entire region are urged to have multiple ways to receive warnings and a clear plan to reach shelter at a moment's notice. The timing of Monday's threat is particularly challenging. Storms could linger from overnight into the morning across Missouri and Illinois, meaning residents wake up to an already active and dangerous situation. Additional storm development is expected by midday, and by late afternoon and evening, the setup becomes extremely volatile. Discrete supercell thunderstorms capable of producing strong and violent tornadoes are most likely near St. Louis and across Illinois during this window. As evening arrives, the storm mode is expected to shift somewhat, with clusters of thunderstorms producing widespread damaging winds across a large area. However, isolated supercells may continue to spin up tornadoes even within this more complex storm environment. Overnight, the threat continues to push east into Indiana, Kentucky, and Ohio, with damaging winds and isolated tornadoes remaining possible into the early morning hours of Tuesday. Tuesday brings a southward shift in the severe weather focus. The main threat area migrates toward a corridor from Dallas up toward Lexington and Cincinnati. While there is some uncertainty in exactly how Tuesday's setup evolves, Texas in particular could see a more significant severe weather day than currently expected. Strong wind shear will support the development of supercell thunderstorms capable of producing large hail and isolated strong tornadoes. Storms on Tuesday are expected to develop especially after sunset and continue through the overnight hours, making this another situation where nighttime preparedness will be critical. Residents in Arkansas and surrounding areas should also monitor the situation closely, as storm activity is expected to remain dangerous well into the evening. The pattern does not end after Tuesday. Additional severe weather chances continue into the middle of the week. Wednesday may offer a brief and more isolated break in activity, but another potentially significant setup is taking shape for Thursday across the southern plains and Gulf Coast. The storm track remains active, and further rounds of organized severe weather are expected to impact Texas and surrounding areas Friday and Saturday. This extended stretch of severe weather activity serves as a strong reminder that we're now in the heart of severe weather season. April and May are historically the most active months of the year for tornadoes, large hail, and destructive wind events across the United States. The atmospheric pattern in place right now is one that meteorologists watch very carefully, and the signals are pointing toward continued high-end severe weather potential in the weeks ahead. U.S. Storm Center urges everyone in the affected areas to take these threats seriously. Download a reliable weather alert app on your phone and ensure your notifications are turned on. Know where your nearest sturdy shelter is, whether that is an interior room on the lowest floor of a building, a basement, or a designated storm shelter. Have a plan for your family, your pets, and your property. Do not wait until sirens are sounding to begin taking action. Stay with U.S. Storm Center for continuous updates as this dangerous multi-day severe weather event unfolds. We will provide round-the-clock coverage, storm reports, and the latest forecast information to keep you safe and informed throughout this event.